Meet the second generation Mercedes-Benz GLC. It's bigger, smarter, and more luxurious than the best-selling premium SUV it replaces. But there's a catch. Actually, there's two, and buyers are not going to like it. But before we get onto that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and let us know what you think of this new Mercedes. There's a lot riding on this new sales strategy, given the GLC is Australia's and the world's top-selling mid-size luxury SUV, as well as the German brand's best-selling model overall, with more than 2.6 million global sales thus far. But those catches I mentioned, firstly, the model range has been trimmed to just one variant, this GLC 300, and that means the price has gone up. It's now $105,000, which represents a whopping $12,000 increase on its predecessor, and that is not chump change. It also puts the price even further ahead of rivals like the BMW X3 and Audi Q5. Overseas, there's a range of different engines available in the GLC, including diesels and plug-in hybrids, but Mercedes-Benz Australia believes there's simply no demand for either of those. So if you don't want this turbocharged 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, you better look elsewhere. Equipped with fuel-saving mild hybrid tech, it hooks up to a 9-speed automatic transmission, drives all 4 wheels, and is claimed to be pretty quick. That said, it's no faster than the previous GLC, despite electrification adding an extra 200 Newton meters of torque. That's largely because it's 70 kilos heavier. So why bother at all? Well, it should provide better fuel efficiency, in theory. The Aussie GLC 300 models come as standard with an AMG line exterior pack, along with these 20-inch AMG alloy wheels. The interior also features an AMG line package fitted as standard, which is where 12 grand has gone. But I must confess, this is pretty schmick. The flat bottom steering wheel, funky seats, a bit of gloss black here, the soft touch leather on the dash, and these air vents are just divine. I love them. The new layout features this 11.9-inch portrait-style central screen that incorporates a lot of the previous model's physical controls. This has pros and cons. It looks fantastic and condenses the number of hard buttons down the bottom. But if you're like me and you prefer hard buttons, this is going to be a step backwards. And fiddling with the temperature while on the move and bouncing around is a little bit hit and miss. It's a little bit sketchy sometimes. But overall, I like the updated infotainment system, which is easier to navigate than the previous version, but still has loads of depth. All models come with wireless and wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can just jump in and be ready to go with your favorite music or podcast. And look how much of the screen it takes up too. That is really cool. Fit and finish is very good, and all materials have a high quality feel. Even the carpets are nice, but there is one exception to that rule. The column-mounted gear shifter feels offensively cheap. It's no different to what you get in an entry-level A-Class for about half the price, and it detracts from the overall lavish experience that's been built up in here. And that's a bit of a shame. I suppose one side effect is that it declutters this whole area. Because there's no gear shifter, you get a lot more storage. And under here, this is pretty cool, I'll admit. I wish seat ventilation was part of the package as well. You get heated seats, but not cooled seats. However, big ticket items like the panoramic glass roof and a really, really good head-up display are standard, which is good to see. The digital instrument cluster is very good, with heaps of options and data, although the steering wheel touchpads to adjust the display can be haphazard. They're just a little bit finicky. I'm not a huge fan. It would have just been good with like a little button or dial or something. The back seat is really quite lovely. You're comfortable too, there's a bit of contouring, good headrests, and legroom is pretty good. Headroom, not amazing because of this glass roof, but it definitely feels like a place for adults and not just kids back here. A powered tailgate is standard, and the bigger GLC now has a larger boot, up by 12%, which is really quite impressive. And I really like this feature here. So when you fold them both down, you've got up to 1.85 meters of length, so you can get some pretty big objects in there. Well, that's our first taste of the Australian spec Mercedes-Benz GLC. And while Benz reckons that price hike is justified by the extra equipment, improved tech levels, and its bigger overall size. I'm going to reserve judgment until we drive it on Aussie roads. But until then, what do you reckon? Is it going to be worth that extra price hike? Let us know in the comments below.